We're now live, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll make it almost 5 o'clock. Okay then, we'll make a start. Good afternoon everybody and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Planning Applications Committee. Just so that people are aware, I think we all know as councillors, but this meeting is being live streamed. It's also being recorded to go out following the meeting if anybody feels like they want to watch it again. Just a reminder, if people can make sure their phones are switched off or put on silent, unless you're using them to be part of this meeting, I suppose. Excuse me. So, item number 2, to receive apologies. Have we had any, Victoria?
We haven't had any apologies, Chair, but I don't think Councillor Wilson has joined us yet.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. Yeah, okay. He may join us as we move on. Okay. Item 4 is to receive declarations of any disclosable pecuniary and other interests in accordance with the members' code of conduct. If I can say in the normal way through this meeting, if members want to speak, they can press on the hand icon. I don't see any there. Oh, sorry, I jumped one. Number 3 was to confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 23rd of February. And I think all members have had an email about a slight alteration to that. Are members happy with that? Yes, okay, thank you. Already done number 4, so item number 5, any declarations of contact where members may have been contacted by people interested in any of these items.
Chair, Councillor Phillips. I have been contacted in relation to the planning process of 111 Earls Road, agenda item 2.
Okay, thank you. Right, item number 6, the applications where people have indicated a desire to speak. If I can just run through the process for that, the officer will present the report to that particular item. Following on from that, I'll take the speakers as listed. Under the Constitution, you're allowed 3 minutes. Once the egg timer goes off after 3 minutes, I will stop you. But there may be an opportunity for members to seek any points of clarification. It would only be to clarify something that's been said from within 3 minutes of your presentation. Following on from that, the officers may want to make further comment, and then once something's been moved and seconded, the matter will be debated by the committee, and hopefully a decision will be taken today. Darren, can I just confirm, or Victoria, that we don't have any other speakers on this first item other than Mr. Lewicki? Have I said that right?
Yes, Lewicki, that's fine.
Sorry? Lewicki, okay,
Yeah.
as it says, okay. And apologies for that.
Yeah, no.
Councillor Julian Guthrie. Do we have any other speakers or statements
Just those
to be read
two,
out?
yeah, as far as I'm aware, just those two.
Yeah, just those 2, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. In which case, we're on to item number 1 then, 120 Lutterworth Road. Darren?
Thanks, Chair. Right, I'll just share my screen. Sorry, being a bit slow.
Yeah, it's okay, Darren.
Okay. Hopefully you can all see that. This item is a full application for the erection of 6 flats on the current site of 120 Lutterworth Road. Members will likely recall that in 2017 an application for 5 flats was approved on this site. That 2017 permission is still extant currently due to the coronavirus legislation, which extended some permissions which were due to expire last year. The application property is a red brick bungalow situated on Lutterworth Road on the corner of the junction of Crowell Road and Lutterworth Road. The bungalow is set on a relatively large plot with a front garden and attached garage, just as the other nearby properties on Lutterworth Road also feature large or sometimes even larger plots. This part of Lutterworth Road is a residential area defined by detached properties set on generous plots. The area is open in character with some established natural vegetation, hedges and tree lining along the road. The bungalow is set under a tiled roof with a side dormer. The property has a generous rear garden with a good depth and width. Being on a corner site, the plot fronts Lutterworth Road and has its longer side boundary with Crowell Road, which is characterised by modern detached and semi-detached properties built around the 1970s with some more recent additions. The key issues to consider in the assessment of this application are the principle of the development, impact on residential amenity, impact on visual amenity, and the impact on highway safety. In regard to the principle of development, the previous permission on the site back in 2017 was for 5 flats. This permission was due to expire in the summer. However, due to the coronavirus legislation, this expiry has been extended until the 1st of April 2021, just like all other applications expiring last summer up to the 31st of December. The use of this land within the urban area for a residential use is acceptable and will conform with the many other surrounding residential uses. Overall, the principle of siting 6 flats in this location is considered to be acceptable. In respect of the impact on residential amenity, there are 2 properties which are most affected by the proposal. 2A Crowell Road has some side-facing windows facing towards the proposed flats. The distance standards are met, except where a habitable room window on the 2nd floor would overlook number 2A. But this is shown as being obscure glazed on the plans, and this is supported by a condition. Because of the obscure glazing to that window, all the distance standards are met, and this is considered to be acceptable. 118 Lutterworth Road, the neighbouring property, does have a rear-facing first-floor window, but the proposed flats will not project significantly beyond the rear of 118. Distance standards are met in relation to this property too. Environmental health were consulted and recommended an acoustic fence is erected surrounding where the proposed car park area meets with the 2 neighbouring dwellings. This will help to protect amenity by way of noise, traffic, noise, car door slamming, headlights and so on, to 118 Lutterworth Road and 2A Crowell Road. In respect of the impact on visual amenity, the proposed two-storey building features rooms in the roof space and will be designed to resemble a large 2-storey house with dormer windows in the front and rear roof slope. The street scene of Lutterworth Road is eclectic in style, with large plots and relatively large properties being one of the only consistencies as one travels along the road. There is quite a mixture of house sizes and styles. The materials which make up the road also vary, with red brick being a fairly common site, with clay tiles also repeated on many properties. The proposed ridgeline will be the same as its neighbour at 118 Lutterworth Road. Although a fairly large building on this corner, the street scene of Lutterworth Road is varied enough for this not to look out of place. It is considered that the impact on visual amenity will not be significant. Access is to be made to the car parking area for the 6 flats from Crowell Road, with 9 spaces accommodated on the site. Warwickshire County Council Highways have no objection to this and have asked for conditions. One of these conditions is requiring off-site works, in this case a traffic regulation order, to take place prior to the occupation of the dwellings. This is what's known as a Grampian condition. The TRO, traffic regulation order, would add double yellow lines to both sides of the carriageway around the 4 arms of the crossroad junction next to the site. The lines would be on the corner of Lutterworth Road, Crowell Road and Middleborough Close. The proposed 6 flats could not be occupied until these yellow lines had been completed. It is felt that with these adequate conditions, there is to be no significant harm to the highway safety as a result of the scheme. In conclusion, therefore, the proposal is recommended for approval subject to conditions. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Darren. Okay, our first speaker is Mr. Lewicki. The clock will start when you do.
Mr. Lewicki, you're muted.
Sorry, yeah, thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for letting me address you. Some of this will basically say the same things as your planning officer. I'm Andrew Lewicki, the designer of the proposals before you for this site and the applicant. The proposed scheme is in accordance with the local development plan and local and national planning policy. The site already has current and live planning permission for a very similar scheme consisting of 8 bedrooms arranged as 5 flats with 8 parking spaces. The proposed scheme is still 8 bedrooms, but it's arranged as 6 flats with 9 parking spaces. The entrance to the site is identical to the 5 flat scheme, which has current planning consent. And what it prevents cars entering the property via Lutterworth Road, which going back to 2017 was a concern of highways with cars coming off Lutterworth Road into the site. The parking layout has been simplified, which allows it to gain 1 extra car parking space, and highways do not object to the proposed scheme. Cars at the moment can park around the site near the crossroads. This also applies to the current extant planning permission scheme. However, the proposed, I will be required to pay for double yellow lines on each arm of the crossroads, which will prevent parking and actually improve the situation, not only as it is now, but even on the basis of what has already been approved. And another point I'd like to say on the parking is there is a similar block over the road, which is called Springbourne Developments built, which is 8 flats and 12 car parking spaces. I've passed that property probably generally once every day, at least. I've never seen the car park full in that location. And furthermore, the future is electric, as we all know, with scooters and bikes. And I understand that West Midlands Transport Authority, they're looking to trial a similar scheme in Nuneaton on that basis. Yeah, and then just really on the points with the proposal, as I say, it's very similar but better than the previous bigger 5 flat scheme, which has current planning permission. It is in accordance with the local development plan, local and national planning policy. And to be consistent, I respectfully ask the committee to agree with your officer's recommendation and grant planning permission.
Thank you, Mr. Lewicki. Perfect timing. Are there any points of clarification? No, I see none. So to enable debate to take place, can I move the recommendation?
Yeah, Councillor Gutteridge still needs to speak.
Oh, sorry, I do. Yeah, I do apologise. Yeah, apologies, Councillor Gutteridge. Yeah. The clock will start when you do, Councillor Gutteridge. I'm sorry about that. I was a step ahead of myself.
Thank you, Chair. Members of the Planning Committee, the proposed development of 120 Lutterworth Road, at present a bungalow, it is into 6 flats, 2 2-bedroom and 4 1-bedroom flats. Reminds me of an old saying of a quart into a pint pot, a large amount of something that will not fit into a small space. Many residents have expressed their views and concerns that this is a great overdevelopment of the site, and there is enough proposed parking spaces, total of 9 vehicle spaces, including 3 for visitors. Where will excess vehicles be parked? You only have to see the schedule of the conditions 14 if this development is to be passed. The proposed double yellow lines on the 4 arms of the junction will hopefully keep traffic moving if passed. Officer's recommendation is to grant planning permission subject to conditions printed. I would like the committee to add another condition due to the position of this site. And the condition is that deliveries and collections associated with this construction of the proposed development shall only occur between the hours of 9 AM and 3 PM, therefore avoiding peak periods of traffic and in particular the school runs. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Are there any points of clarification? No. Okay, thank you, Councillor.
Thank you.
In which case, I'll go back then. To enable debate to take place, can I move the recommendation, which is to grant planning permission, subject to the conditions printed? Is that seconded?
Seconded, Chair. Councillor Tandy.
Okay, thank you. Any member? Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Chair. I remember this application from the last time around in its previous form, and I had been contacted by residents on that occasion, but I haven't been on this. And I well remember the high feelings there were amongst the immediate neighbours on this particular application. I am pleased to see that finally the County Council have seen a bit more sense and proposed the double yellow lines on each of the roads of Crowhill, Lutterworth and Middleburg. That's far more sensible than what we had last time and will mitigate some of the impact of this development. But I still believe, Chair, that this is an over-intense use of the land for having 6 flats on this site, and having the access off Crowhill Road at the very top, which is one of the most busiest roads in the borough. That's not just my words, those were the words of the borough plan when it went out to consultation a number of years ago, which said the B4114 Lutterworth Road is one of the, if not the most congested and used roads in the borough. Not my words, these are the words of the planning officers themselves. And we are adding more traffic onto the Lutterworth Road, Crowhill, Middleburg junction, and having the access at the very top of Crowhill, I think is inappropriate. If it had been appropriate in the first place, it would have been done a long time ago. So I won't be supporting this application tonight, Chair. I sincerely believe it is over-intensive development of the land, and I am aware of the comparison which the applicant has made about the flats over the road. But I believe it is a mistaken comparison because 2 houses had to be taken down for that particular one. And if memory serves, this committee refused it on a number of occasions, and we played a game of ping pong with the planning inspector, and the planning inspector only gave way about the 4th appeal from, if memory serves correctly. So it is not a directly applicable comparison. Yes, there are flats on the Attleborough side of Lutterworth Road, but 2 houses had to be demolished to make way for that set of flats there. So on behalf of the residents of Whitestone who will be living in that area, I cannot in all conscience vote for it, and I believe it is over-intensely developing this particular plot of land, Chair. But I believe Councillor Gutteridge's suggestion about conditioning the hours of commencing the development, if the application goes ahead, would have a significant amount of merit because of the amount of traffic we have on there. I appreciate that COVID has made traffic management and traffic patterns slightly different, but we are now seeing an emergence from COVID. More people are having their jabs, etc. So I have noticed on my way into work, and I pass that on my way to work almost every single day and back, that there has been an increase of vehicles on the road network there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Wilson. I was going to come to the point of asking the officers. Darren, can I just ask you if I think we normally have a standard condition or something about deliveries and works when it's on site, but is that a reasonable condition to be able to put forward?
We usually only put that kind of condition on major schemes. So we ask for a construction management plan often on major sites. With this being a minor, we don't tend to, but we have done it elsewhere in the borough sometimes, conditioning delivery. So if members were minded to, I don't see any major objection to that.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought it was a fairly reasonable request in the bearing in mind the location of it and people travelling to and from schools and things. So I'm happy to. Sorry, Councillor Wilson, did you actually move that we had that condition regardless of whatever the decision is?
I'm happy to move that as a formal proposal, Chair.
Okay, and I'll second that. Are members happy that we include that condition?
Yes, Chair.
I see nobody.
Yes.
I see nobody putting their hands up to object it. So I'm going to take it that we add that condition regardless of the decision. Is there anybody else wanting to speak on the application? No. If not, then the recommendation is to grant planning permission subject to the conditions printed and the additional condition in regards to the hours permitted for deliveries. Wahida, could you just run through the list and take the names and how people are going to vote, please?
Certainly, Chair. If you could vote for the motion then. Councillor Gran. Councillor Gran.
Looks like he's got a problem there. Come back to him, Wahida.
I'll come back to him, yeah. Councillor Hancock.
4.
Councillor Lloyd.
Oh my goodness.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Pandaher.
Paul.
Councillor Phillips.
4.
Thank you. Councillor Rudkin.
4.
Sorry, Chair. Sorry, can everyone mute themselves until you're called on for a second? I think it's the feedback from all the microphones on. Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Sargent.
Did we get Councillor Rudkins?
I got 4, but
okay,
shall I just check?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, I didn't hear it. Okay.
Councillor Sargent.
Against.
Councillor Shepherd.
4.
Councillor Smith.
Against.
Councillor Tandy.
Yeah. 4. Sorry, problem. 4.
No problem. Thank you. Councillor Tromans.
Against.
Councillor Watkins.
4.
Councillor Wilson.
Against.
Could we try Councillor Gran again, please,
Yeah.
Victoria?
Just added to the chat that his microphone isn't working, so he's voting against.
Okay.
Thank you. That's carried, Chair.
Yeah, okay. I was just going to say, if you can agree that that's carried. Okay, so that is approved. which takes us on to the second item, which is 111 Earls Road. Darren, can you confirm that the applicant has asked for this item to be deferred?
That's correct, Chair. The applicant emailed us on Monday asking for it to be deferred to the next committee to allow for amended plans to be submitted.
Okay. Right. Okay. It is, however, down to members whether they want to agree to that deferment or not. Can I move that this item is deferred because of the reasons stated? Is that seconded?
Seconded, Chair.
Okay. Thank you. Is any member against that? Right. I see none. So that deferment is agreed. I believe that's all we've got. So that completes the business. I don't have any items of any other business, and all it leaves is to thank you very much for your attendance and declare the meeting closed and ask for the live streaming to be stopped.